And here we go.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and welcome back for another review for The Walking Dead 7th season. This time we're going to be taking on episode number 13, entitled Bury Me Here. Now, I know that I've been really hard this season on The Walking Dead's standalone storytelling method, and it's really not gone the way that they planned it, as far as I'm concerned. The pace has become just plodding, and it grinds to a halt, and all the momentum that they build with these really good episodes just grinds to a halt in these subsequent episodes where nothing is happening, pushing the story forward. This is not one of those episodes. This was a powerhouse episode for Lenny James, who plays Morgan. It is a very Morgan-centric episode, and some of these episodes have been some of the highlights of the show. And that's because Lenny James is just fantastic as an actor. He's able to do so much without saying very much, as evidenced in a scene later in the episode. It's great, it really is. And having both Lenny James and Melissa McBride as Carol kind of be the focal point of this episode, it really lends itself to good quality because of the quality of their acting. They don't even have to say much, and they're able to just convey a sense of urgency or just a sense of poise. And this particular story, where they've been trying to get the kingdom into the fight against the Saviors, is a compelling one, because it's understandable why they don't want to jump in the fight. They have probably the best Savior as far as an assignment goes in Gavin. I mean, he's relatively kind compared to most of the other ones. Now, obviously, he has a dick in his group, but all things said, they're lucky. And Richard, who is a character who is relatable because he wants to fight back, and man, did Carl Mannequin have some really good scenes this week. It's really hard to get on board with somebody who basically is messing with two of the fan favorite characters in Daryl and Carol on the show. It's hard to get behind him, but Richard is a character you can understand. You might not really care for him, and his decision making, just like Rosita's, and to some degree Sasha's, has been very, very poor. And in this episode, it comes to the forefront. His bad decision making, while he was meant to be the one to be sacrificed, it was actually Logan Miller, who plays Benjamin, who didn't get very close to him, but the way that Lenny James's reaction and just how he plays it, it made it more impactful than it probably could have been or should have been as an audience member, not knowing Benjamin very well. Just the way that portrayal on the screen this week, I mean, just seeing Morgan lose it and kind of devolve into that primal state that he was in when he was in the episode Clear, and when he was back there with Eastman in the prison cell back on the farm with the goat. It was really interesting to see the devolution of his character, devolving into that state of mind and cracking a little bit, and even mistaking Benjamin's name for Dwayne. It was really, really sad. And the scene that he got to have with Carl Mannequin as Richard, where he didn't say a word. He had like this 2 or 3 minute scene where Richard is just pouring his guts out and telling his whole story, and Morgan doesn't flinch, but he says so much with his expressions. And Richard explained his plan, where he made the offering short, causing Benjamin's death, and that his plan was for him to die so that he could propel the kingdom, or compel the kingdom, into fighting against the Saviors and joining Alexandria on the hilltop. And it backfired completely. And Morgan just murdering him with his bare hands in front of the Saviors, it was a really crazy scene. And while it was a little bit weird that there wasn't more than some passing groans for Richard's demise before Morgan explained the situation, it worked extremely well. And when Carol goes to see Morgan in the beginning of the episode and asks what actually happened and is everybody okay in Alexandria, it's amazing just how much development there was between that moment and the moment where, having lost it and killing a bunch of walkers and going berserker mode with his bow, that he was able to knock on Carol's door and tell her exactly what happened to Glenn and Abraham, and that there were others, because she needs to know, because Carol's got asses to kick. It's time to get going, and seeing Morgan resign to the fact that he's going to have to take these guys out because eventually it's going to go bad. It was kind of heartbreaking, but at the same time, so needed, because Morgan had been on the fence for so long, and it's understandable that he wants to hang on to this sense of society that brought him back from insanity. But it just was kind of the perfect episode to get us back on track into the final 3 episodes of the season, because there was a lot of tension in this episode. There was a lot of really great beats and storytelling and acting and just everything that you could actually want from an episode of The Walking Dead actually happened here. And it seems like now we've got our momentum back. Hopefully next week is okay. It just, I don't know. The Rosita and Sasha thing, we'll see how it works out. I'm hoping that it's just really tense, and we'll definitely see where it goes. The little coda on the end of the scene where Morgan is sharpening his bow and now making it a spear and kind of cracking up looking around, I thought it was a really nice way to end things. I don't know who was peeking in on Carol that killed the walker that she left alive when she went to the gate and had that awesome scene where she used the street sign to kill walkers, which was by far the coolest scene this week in The Walking Dead. We don't know who that was, but I'm sure that we'll get some answers. See, those are the good cliffhangers. Those are the good little nuggets, little crumbs that they leave for you to figure out in subsequent episodes, subsequent weeks. So hopefully we can keep up that kind of stuff, because that stuff is interesting. If I was going to score this week's episode of The Walking Dead, I would give it a very solid 8 out of 10. There were some things that didn't quite exactly make the episode fantastic, but it was a really, really good, solid episode. And it's a tour de force by Lenny James this week. And finally we got Carol back in the kingdom, ready to fight, and convinced Ezekiel to get ready to go. Hopefully we can use this episode to propel us forward to exciting weeks to come, because we've only got 3 episodes left in this season. And hopefully we can salvage this season, because it's definitely not been working. The way that they've told the story just hasn't been working. Anyway, tell us what you thought of The Walking Dead this week in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give us a like. It really helps us out. And if you want to see more reviews and any of the videos on our channel, you can click right here and subscribe. My name is Mike from the Super Wheeler Bros, and as always, my friends, have yourselves a super week.